When the sunset's light broke the horizon, its sanguine rays washed over the silent battlefield. As my flesh was kissed by its stinging warmth, my left eye, the one free from the blood-soaked sludge, opened wide. I tried standing, but not even halfway through the motion, nausea seized my stomach and forced me to fall on my hands and knees. My head began spinning. I started blinking to try and make it cease. The remains of the grenade's wretched whistle still pierced my ears. My breath came in heavy and irregular coughs. Big puffs of steam filtered through clenched teeth as I was panting and grunting. The dread, cold night's air punctured my lungs. After the worst of the dizziness had passed, I noticed the cannon shrapnel still stuck in my flak armor. I tried to dislodge it, but my sudden attempt discharged a maddening throw in my head, if like a needle had just pierced my brain. As it came to pass, I took one hand to the helmet and felt a huge dent morphing its surface. I left my hand to fall along the side of my face, and I felt the cold mixture of blood and sludge that had been trickling from my scalp into a small pool beneath me on the ground. Pushing against the need to regurgitate, I was finally able to raise my eyes. All around me, stretching as far as the human eye could see, nothing but corpses of a battle without victors or victims. Not even a rattle of pain discernible for miles. All that could fill my ears was the sickening gurgle of blood pouring out from eviscerated bodies, and the hideous sound of scavengers plunging their beaks in soaking wet meat. Why am I still alive? The words fell in a whisper from my lips, weightless, meaningless, as my eyes darted from corpse to corpse in search of any sign of life, any. I wanted to cry, but I couldn't. Where once my heart beat with the pride of man, now there was nothing but a chilling grip. Before me, on the battlefield, there was nothing of the glory that was promised. Neither honor nor inspiring tales. Just rotting meat and stranding hope. My gaze met the dying sun, its beams being slowly suffocated by the mountains in the distance. When suddenly, a voice reached my ears. A voice that I would have never thought to hear again in my life. It sounded like a child's laughter, like the swish of my scruffed hair when my father handed me as a boy. Like the whispered confessions of my first love. "My son," it said, "come to me. My legs started moving, my gaze never abandoning the light's warmth. As my feet carried me forward in this breathless chase, I made my way through the broken banners of dying empires, ruptured altars, bodies of ceramite, and frail, bloodied husks, wrapped in nothing but the conviction of their faith. And yet, I could never reach the light in time. Eventually, even its last beam disappeared behind the ragged mountains, leaving me in the suffocating, dark penumbra. "My Emperor," I sobbed, my legs giving up on the weight of my body, now suddenly become unbearable. "Speak to me, please," I continued, as I stumbled and fell to the ground. As I returned back to my knees, hands clenching a blend of mud and viscera, I began sobbing, and tears finally started to wet my cheeks. I couldn't believe he had abandoned me. After all I gave him, all my life, my home, my family, my love, without ever budging, without ever doubting, I embraced his vision as my own, for the future of humanity. But as his voice left me, others began to whisper. They started as half-muttered words and sounds, but they soon became clearer. They were speaking my name. Still on my knees, I warily turned towards their direction and noticed a warm, dim light coming from behind the corpse of one of the ceramite giant corpses. I stood back up on my legs and noticed that the light came from an amulet, glowing with power, still hanging from its chest armor. The voices sounded so comforting, so tender. It was like somebody was trying to reach me from a world of pure bliss and happiness. Like fire, the amulet irradiated a settling heat, which at that moment seemed my only way through that unbearable nightmare. As I approached the relic, however, once I laid a hand upon it, the welcoming warmth soon snapped to biting cold. Something started crawling under my skin, scurrying along my arm, a tumor-like being. I tried to pull back, but my arm wasn't mine to command anymore, and it wouldn't let go of the amulet. As I screamed for help, the entity reached for my skull and suffocated my cries. My skin started boiling, whilst my inside started breaking, twisting, like it was fighting between each other for the mere right of existence. My skull began morphing, my bones elongating, and my jaw breaking to adapt to the new size of my gaping maw. Amidst the all-overpowering pain, I tried to reach for the lace pistol still in my holster. But there was nothing left for me in this world but the mercy of the Emperor's peace. I had fallen. Then, however, a tingly sensation grew in the back of my head, filling me with an intoxicating sense of glee. I found myself smiling. As the joy now turned into euphoria, a sharp adrenaline rush invaded the newfound body that I now witnessed. 3 times as tall, with arms like tree trunks, and massive bat-like wings. Power likes I never knew I could possess flew through my veins. As all the pain and suffering were washed away, I looked around me. A newfound light now revealed me the way I was to tread. It showed me a new world, one where I wasn't subject to the hypocrisy and wantings of a self-proclaimed tyrant, where I had the power to make others see what I have been blind to for so long. But most of all, I felt whole. I felt unity, identity, purpose. What the corpse emperor had taken away from me, it was given to me back 1,000-fold. I was one with the gods, and they were one with me. And to repay them for saving my life, I would have torn from the blood and guts of the galaxy a new world that all could have witnessed and joined in their shared light. I would become an instrument of their glory. And so, finally it came. A dawning realization. I had not fallen. I had ascended.
On this channel, we are putting together narrative Total War cinematic battles and Warhammer lore videos. A special thank you goes to our Patreon supporters who help us in the making of more content. You can also join Patreon and earn extra perks while supporting the videos to come. Find the link in the description below. Make sure to subscribe, and thank you for watching. See you on the next one.